was a captain. Like, this happened to me while I'm a captain. You feel me? Like, it's like, yo, what? And that really showed me that, like, mindset is so much. Like, you wanna cross a mountain, fix your mindset. You wanna move a mountain, fix your mindset.
Welcome to episode 1 of Moving Mountains. I'm your host, Austin Holland. I'm a college football player with a passion for showing others that with the right mindset, you can move any mountain that may stand in your way of your goal. And I'm excited to bring you weekly interviews with guests where they'll be sharing their stories and how they've overcome a mountain in their life. In this first week, we are joined by none other than my dear friend Momo Sanogo, all ACC honorable mention, 13-game starter, led a nationally ranked defense in tackles with 89. My dear friend, we played together at Louisville, and he's now getting ready for his next pro opportunity. Thanks for joining me, my boy.
Appreciate you having me on, brother.
So, first thing we want to talk about, this show is about moving mountains. So just showing other people, with the right mindset. And, my dear friend, similar mindset as me. He's dealt with quite some obstacles throughout his journey, throughout playing football. So I kind of just want to hear you talk about, you've been from Plano, Texas, a big, big football state. What was that like? What was the culture surrounding football in that area?
It was a lot. Football was the big thing. I came into football late. I started up late because my dad's from Africa, so we played soccer. I went to football because I wasn't really that good at soccer. So that was all new to me. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be that big. Giant stadiums, huge games, packed out crowds, all that stuff. A lot of amazing competition. But it just kind of created that atmosphere to where, it's like you have to get it or you don't. It's time to work. Everybody's got equal opportunity. So
Yeah.
I just put my head down and kept working from there.
So were you heavily recruited coming out of high school?
Technically, yes, but it didn't feel like it to me because I had so many boys that were like the top recruits that were close by me that I trained with all the time. I mean, the number one linebacker in the country was Anthony Hines, who was 10 minutes away from my house. And I don't know if you remember him, but that was class of 2017. He got his first scholarship offer in like 7th grade and then had like 100 scholarship offers. So I'm consistently comparing myself to him.
Yeah.
Which don't do that on any journey you're on. Don't compare yourself to other people. Because I feel like that really put a damper on my journey. And like looking back, I just wish I just enjoyed my own process and my own journey because it all worked out. So it's like, why was I even stressing?
Yeah, 100%. And then, I can attest to it too. Like being us being athletes, we comparison is a thief of joy, right? Like we see everybody else around us, and now it's like NIL and offers, and it's easy. Like, oh, he's getting the ball more than me, or he's playing more than me. Like it's easy to compare, but we just got to be able to take a step back and be able to realize, like it's a blessing just to be here. Like it's a blessing just to be in a room, and like swallowing that humble pie, but even be able to still have that confidence to like go out there and go take what you want,
Yeah, that fine line between confidence and arrogance, right?
You gotta find it. You gotta find it. So talk to me. So you transferred into Louisville from Ole Miss. So kind of just speak about what it was like playing in the SEC because we're both familiar with the ACC and it's Power 5 football. It's big boy football, but SEC is a Southeast Conference is different now. Talk to me. Talk to me about it.
And I told you this back in Louisville, and I told some of the other guys too. Like, I mean, it's football. It's not like it's not like only the good players are in the SEC. There's good players everywhere. Power 5 is Power 5 for a reason. Like,
Yeah,
any team can come into the SEC, go on the road, like in the SEC, and come and beat them in their own house.
yeah.
That like you got the better of them that day. That's cool. But I mean, it's different coming in and doing that week after week after week after week after week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like even when you play your quote unquote easy games, like you play Vanderbilt, them boys just like they have this mentality where it's like we're gonna get our ass kicked every week. I'm gonna take somebody's head off. And so that's how they all play. And so
Yeah.
like even that easy game, like yeah, you won the game easily, but it's like I'm glad we don't double up schedules. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, and it just kind of like we were talking about just a second ago, like that fine line between confidence and arrogance. Like the conference as a whole kind of found that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of found that like I respect you and what you do over there, but it's not what we do over here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come just a little bit different, a little bit harder. Like you're gonna remember me.
I'm in the portal right now, so I know that the portal is really everyone knows the portal. You go in, and a lot of people don't get another opportunity. That's it. They just get lost in the portal. So, talk to me about what led to your decision to enter the portal, and then why choose Louisville.
So I was a 3-year starter at Ole Miss, and then they had brought in a new coordinator who had brought in his linebacker from his old school. Um, and it was a situation where like Coach Kiffin loved
Yeah,
the fame, the wild, the antics, all that stuff. He wanted the All American linebacker with 140 tackles and all the stats in the world. Like the defense was already kind of set to rotate, like this new defense was set to funnel things to the middle linebacker. So like he wanted somebody to have all those snaps. So there was already two of us, me and Jaquez Jones. He transferred to Kentucky after that. Um, but yeah, coach just he wanted a All American linebacker, and like no hate towards Coach Kiffin. Like he does what he does. He's gonna win his games. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that linebacker wasn't me, so I saw very minimal snaps. And I mean, like I did my stuff on the snaps I got, but like that's not what I came there for. So after the season, I just decided to enter the portal because like it just had dawned on me that like from the very jump of my college career, I had never been with a coach that had brought me in. You know what I mean? Like I was brought in by Coach Freeze. After two
Yeah.
months of being on campus, he's like, all right, y'all, I'm resigning. Deuces. We get smacked with a 2-year bowl ban, new coaches. I had in those 5 years. I had 4 different position coaches, um, 3 different DCs, 4 different DCs, and 2 head coaches. 3 head coaches. Yeah, because I had Kiffin, Luke, and then Freeze. So 3 head coaches, 4 DCs, 5 linebacker coaches. It was just like, let me go somewhere where like I'm really wanted like that. Like
Yeah,
I want to feel like I'm brought into this system for this system.
yeah.
I mean, that's something people don't think about. Like being at a school doing this and that is one thing, but like you got to be in the right system for you personally. And if you're not, then it might
I
not
mean, but
work.
that's the thing. You could even enter the portal, right? Like you coming from a P5, like you could have a school that's a G5 or even another P5 that recruits you just because you know for your name or for what you've done, just because it looks good on paper, but then have no real intention of playing you. and that's
Exactly.
and that's the crazy thing. Like so, you definitely got to find a school and a team that fits you right. Like if you're a 6'5" receiver, and you not a speedster, don't go to no school where they got nothing but speedy receivers because they don't
That's not what
fit
they're
their
looking
scheme.
for.
Yeah, like you don't fit their scheme, even though they may want you, but at the end you're not fitting in the scheme. So talk a little bit about your stint. Kind of what your combine process looked like, and kind of how did your time at Louisville help prepare you for that hard that hard time with the uncertainty of everything that could happen when football is over.
Yeah. So I mean, like like after that last game your senior year, like you don't know. You don't know what's gonna happen. Like you may think your agent tells you what, XYZ, blase, blase, but like that's nobody knows what's gonna happen. But I mean, all credit to Coach D Nick. Like I spent a lot of time with Coach D Nick, a lot of time watching film, so I was mentally prepared for that next level. Like he talked to me, him and Coach B Brown talked to me as if I was in the league 24/7. Like that's how we approached everything. They did so much to help me get ready for that because that's such a huge jump from
Yeah.
college to pro. Because first of all, the schemes they run are very different. The types of zones they run are very different, and the terminology is vastly different. Like when I was with the Broncos for a bit, like our play call sheet was like it wasn't just right three. It was a whole long
Yeah.
ass name with a check that's already ingrained in the call. And I'm the Mike
Yeah.
linebacker, so I got to call it. But I was prepared for it because they had me mentally ready. They knew I was going to take care of the physicality stuff of getting ready physically. So they just did a lot that year to help me get ready for that. And then once I got into that process, D-Nick called me probably once every week and a half, once every week during that time, just to make sure my mental was on straight, to make sure I had a mentor to talk to and bounce ideas off of. If I had any ideas or questions or anything like that. It was lucky for me because he had played in the league, so he had been through that process before.
That's love. That's love. And I say, those our coaching staff was guys on the defense side of the ball was they they really took care of y'all for real.
No, yeah, our coach has got us right. That's for sure.
100%. So speak about the XFL, right? So after time with the Broncos, God had other plans for you, and now talk about what you've been doing since then to kind of keep your mental right. Because we all know you working. Trust me, we know you working. So physically, so talk about like on
I'm
the mental
training.
side,
I'm
like
feeling. I'm
how do
training.
you
I'm
keep
feeling.
going? Like what keeps you going every day?
I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been a bumpy road.
Yeah,
That's for sure. And like I'll get in that in a second. But as far as like keeping my mental on straight, I've been doing a lot of like trying to read some stuff, try to look at some different uh, um, mindsets that people take towards things, and then just apply that to my daily. Like try it for a week. Try to change the way I'm thinking about things when I feel down. Because like there's no question, like I'm blessed to be in this opportunity that I'm in to be able to
yeah,
continue to play football after college. Like I should not be stressing like this. I should be enjoying it. So every time I feel that doubt or that anything negative creep in, it's just a personal conversation I have with myself. And I'm a very like in tune person personally, so like I'm able to catch it quickly before it starts spiraling. But no, bro, like so I got back in June, got drafted by the DC Defenders, and then,
hometown.
bro,
DC,
probably the end of July, money's up. Like I can't pay for training no more. I'm training at this place called Sports Academy. Like
mm-hmm.
we ain't got to talk about all the prices they get into, but just know like they coming for your pockets, bro.
I'm at XO's
Crazy.
now, bro. Hey, I know.
Hey, Excel's on the same type of time, but like
Yeah,
crazy coming for your pockets. So I had to stop training. Like I've done blew through all my savings on nothing but training. I done, and that was a mental thing. Like I'm like, man, like I just blew through so much money and I have nothing. I didn't get anything for myself. That's when I had to switch my thinking. I'm like, no, bro, like you're investing in yourself. Like this is a personal investment. But
yeah,
like for the next 2 months, the next 2.5 months, I couldn't train. I couldn't afford to train. So like I was working at a gym, just training kids and just trying to stack up as much money as I could until I could pay until the XFL started. Saved up enough money after 2.5 months and then got back into that training, which that was rough on its own because I came in and I was working out on my own, but that was just not
not the
the
same.
same type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
shape.
we know it's not the same. Yeah,
And I'm back training, I'm getting rolling, I'm feeling good. And this was a week and a half ago, or a week ago. Boom, we get texted. We like, oh, we got to get in the team meeting. The XFL and the USFL were merging,
mm-hmm.
and we
Yep,
all thought like, okay, that's gonna be cool. Like they're just gonna merge. They're gonna make it 8 teams combined, 16 teams. No, they come out and say half the teams are getting cut. This was like 2 months ago, but then my team was safe. So I'm thinking, okay, we still good. Everything's good. I'm training. I'm feeling good. My body's feeling great. A week ago, pop in the team meeting. Coaches are like, yeah, pretty much. Like all the contracts that we have, everything is nulled out because we combine leagues. So nobody's safe. We can only protect 40 guys. Like we're going to protect 40 guys on our roster and pretty much let everybody else go and then just start redrafting people. And that's including people that's including people from all the teams that are no longer teams. Because like the second best team in the league got cut from just logistics perspective. That's why they got cut. So those best players are now going to be picked up by every other team. It's the same with all these teams. So this
Yeah.
like I'm thinking in my mind like, dang, I didn't play with them last year. Like they had no reason to keep me. Like I'm just stressing. My dad steady telling me like just relax.
Yeah.
And then by the grace of God, I get the call from the GM. He's like, hey, we're going to protect you, so don't even worry about it. And then so they
God
protected
did.
me. And then a couple hours later, I get a call from my boy, my best friend from Ole Miss. We were roommates for 2 years. Tyreek Tisdale. He calls me and goes, guess what? I said, you're lying. He said, yeah, I'm on your team now. So they drafted my boy from Seattle. And
Yeah.
so it's just like everything's getting back on the right track. But it's just been a whole bunch of these up and downs. But you just got to stay. D-Nick used to tell me, Coach Derek Nicholson, best coach I ever had, he used to tell me just even kill all the time. Just you got to be like this. Things will go like this all the time, but you got to find a way to personally stay in the middle of it. Even
Yeah.
when
You
things are
got
going
to.
great, be
You
calm.
got to. And that's the thing. Like you got to, like just like we said, you got to find a happy medium, right? Like you can't be like a roller coaster. You got to. One thing I've been trying to do is I've been telling myself like not to think with my emotions, but to think like logically, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
whenever something happens, whether it's good or bad, okay, what are the facts, right? Like so I that way I can kind of try to stay, in the middle. That way I'm not, oh my gosh, like this school just hit me, boom, right? And then it's like, oh, ACL, boom. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like just kind of gotta find that happy medium, right? You can't get too high, you can't get too low. So let me hear a little bit about how sports has just influenced your life or just has just kind of shaped whether it was what you want to do after football when it's all said and done or just whether it shaped the way you think or the way you carry yourself today. How do you feel like football has kind of shaped you?
I mean, I think playing football and playing it for such a long time at such a high level has completely like rewired like the way I approach everything. Like it's legitimately made me a better man. Like doesn't matter what problems in life get thrown at you. We've had some stuff that tests every fiber of your being happen to you in football, and
Yeah.
and nothing is gonna stop for you. And you realize like the program, it's in a smaller scale, but that really teaches you like this program is not going to stop for you. It's gonna be here after you're gone. It was here before you came. You are just a little piece of it. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
you have to find a way to get yours. That's it. That's all that's happening right here. So like, doesn't matter what happens in life. You gotta keep going and find a way to keep getting through it. And that's what I've done, and that's what you've done for the past 12 years. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Amen.
this is what we've done. So we're prepared for when we go into that real world. And it's not everybody takes that from football. But like those that like really do and really think deeply about the stuff, like you use it to prepare. Like this is you get to the NFL, so that not for long. That's what that stands for. Peyton Manning is over here doing radio shows and stuff like that, and he's got his little show on the ESPN because he's made all. He doesn't need to work again. But like, what am I supposed to just sit at the house now? You got to figure out something else to do,
Yeah.
something else to be passionate about, to pursue, to tackle new challenges, to face yourself with. So it's coming for everybody, regardless of how great you are, how not great you are. It doesn't matter. Like, what can we? This game does nothing but take from us. What can we take from this game? You know what
Amen.
I mean? How can we
Amen.
come out better from it? So I think like I've always thought like that. Not sure why, but I just feel like I'm prepared for that next battle in life,
I
and I
love
know how
that.
to carry myself through it.
That's good. And not to forget to mention though the relationship that you built throughout it. Because you can always lean on me. Vice
Of
versa. So
course, yeah.
I say that's the biggest thing to think about. So when we think about the word influence, right? Like NIL is so big now, right? So like the word influencer is big now. So, kind of talk about how you've used your influence with football to kind of impact the community and where you're from. You said you spoke on training kids. How what are some other ways that you've kind of used your influence and your knowledge from football and giving back to the community?
I've gone up to the high school, spoken to those kids a couple times. I always come prepared with like a little, like what I want to beat into them that day. You know what I'm saying? Like mentally, like what I want them to get away from it. And then when we was at Louisville, me guys shit like we was over there doing sock drives for the homeless because there's a lot of homeless people in Louisville.
Yeah.
And that's the number one need for homeless people, socks. So we did a sock drive, raised like 4,000 pairs of socks or something crazy like that. It was awesome. We did like a little just a little giveaway. I raised money for the Boys and Girls Club. I raised $3,000 for the Boys and Girls Club when I was in Mississippi, and then another $3,000 for a family that had lost a loved one to a tragedy. And so, like whatever I do, I just try to do something to, positively impact the not just the community, but the community that really needs the help. You know what I mean? However I can, and like you have influence, you don't realize how much like little kids look up to you. Like I'm sure you can remember when you was in middle school, how much you looked up to the regular high school football players.
Yeah.
And some of them didn't even go anywhere. So like you're a college athlete. Like look at how people look at you as a college athlete, as an NFL athlete. Like
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. So then, with this being the first episode, I will be ending every interview with the same question. So the question I'm going to ask you is, what is the biggest mountain that you have faced, and what did you do to move it?
I like that question. Name of the podcast, so it's fitting. But I'm the first one, so now I gotta think about the question.
You gotta set the tone. You gotta set the tempo, man. You gotta set the tempo.
I'll say my biggest mountain was that year, that 2021 at Ole Miss, when like it's just like it didn't matter. It didn't matter what I did. Like I said before, Kiffin wanted that All-American linebacker, so that's who was gonna play. And it was just like it didn't matter what I did, what position I tried to move to. Like they had decided that like for that year they was gonna move on, and that's okay. But like that really broke me at that point. Like football felt like that was all I had. You know what I mean? Like that was taken away way earlier than anticipated for that year. I didn't know what was gonna happen moving forward, and like I started questioning like even my love for the game. Like you know what I mean? And it was real depressing. But I'm trying to remember when it was. It was after the Tulane game. And I went and talked to coach, my defensive coordinator, and I said, like, what are you missing? Like, what are you not seeing from me? And then he said, I promise, like, I'm seeing everything I need to see. You're doing great. But it is what it is. And that just like, I was like, damn, for real? Like, okay. But I sat down and I said, there is no way all this work I put into football, everything I do, all the grinding I put in, there's no way I'm going to let another man take my love for this game or another group of men or whatever it is.
Preach.
Take my love for this game that I developed that love through hard work, blood, sweat, tears, not them. So, like, regardless of the circumstance, I'm going to enjoy this. And so I was a captain. Like, this happened to me while I'm a captain. You feel me? Like, it's like, yo, what? But, and I have realized that, like, I really got quiet, like, over those first, like, 2-3 games. But I just, like, snapped out of that. I was like, you know what? Like, that's when I decided in my head, like, I'm going to transfer, but I'm going to leave here. I'm going to maintain my respect with this team. I'm going to do it the right way. I'm not going to leave during the season. I'm going to stick it out. Yo, coach, you want me to just play special teams? Bet. I'm going to do all I got. I'm going to cheer on every single person on this team like it's my job to cheer them on. I'm going to go back when we get to the sideline. Like, everybody respects my football knowledge. I'm going to pull guys aside and coach and go into the coaching meetings with the coaches so I can really learn how to best help my guys when I'm out there, like whatever I can do to help them and approach it that way. And that really showed me that like mindset is so much. Like you wanna cross a mountain, fix your mindset. You wanna move a mountain, fix your mindset. So that's what I did. And I jumped over that hurdle, got to Louisville, didn't know nobody, but just hit the ground running, grinding, and ended up like you said, 89 tackles. I had 6.5 sacks, which is more than a lot of defensive ends get. Like I had a great year, but that was all predicated off that mindset that I had developed when nothing was going my way.
And that's how it's got to be. And like I said, that's why you were the captain, bro. That's why you were the captain of Louisville. Like, like man, it takes so much. It takes so much. And I feel like nowadays, social media gives people that false perception of reality that like, oh, here, this is what happens. And you do one thing and this is what happens. Like here, like it's on the platter. Like no, you got to take it. You got to work for it. Like you got to stay down. When things don't go left, you gotta go right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the whole premise behind the whole tempo thing, right? Like people always like tempo, but like at the end of the day, right? Like the tempo mindset is like imagine if you was trying to go to Denver from Texas. That's a long drive, right? So when you get in the car, what's the first thing you do? You put in the GPS, right?
Right.
GPS is gonna tell you it's gonna take X amount of time, right? The thing that it doesn't tell you is it doesn't account for holding a tire, boom, you got to pull over, stop. It doesn't account for the traffic, boom. Like so, at the end of the day, you can get flustered and frustrated by those things, but at the end of the day, as long as you keep your mind on the end goal, right, and you don't let those little things fluster you, you're gonna get to your end goal, right? You're gonna get there, right? It may take a week, it may take a day, it may take a couple hours, but at the end of the day, you're gonna get there, and that's the biggest thing. Like so, man, I appreciate you for your time, my boy, my first episode. I appreciate
Of
you, man.
course, man.
And listeners, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe to Moving Mountains so you don't miss any future episodes. All up, man. I appreciate you, my boy.
Of course, I appreciate you. And hey, to all the listeners out there, man, hey, listen to my boy, man. Like he's got a mindset that's special. Like he's gonna do big things, and y'all are the first along the way to see it. So let's
Love,
all stay
appreciate
tuned in.
you. Love, appreciate you.